Please don't ignore Zcash. What we see here in the background, that's all the listed tokens on the Binance platform. That's the largest centralized exchange. Zcash is the only real outperformer in the last year. Now, just a few days ago, the developers have proven that the bug fix has worked, that there's no additional supply that got maliciously created. And so the momentum is turning around. The question is, how much more upside potential is there? This is the long-term price chart. We are now at $555. And while that chart looks very different to the market cap chart, because especially in the past, Zcash was very inflationary, even the market cap chart might be cause for concern because we are very high, historically speaking. And this could be a potential resistance. Now, there's a lot of correlation within crypto, right? When Bitcoin goes up, then most altcoins go up as well. When Bitcoin crashes, the altcoins follow. So really what I like to do is I like to look at the altcoins relative to the rest of the altcoin market cap, relative to Bitcoin. We want to figure out how much better or worse does an altcoin perform. And that's what we see in this chart. This is Zcash relative to the others market cap. The others market cap is all the altcoins that are not in the top 10. This here is the recent appreciation due to the confirmed bug fix. But again, how much more upside do we have relative to the potential risk? Let's crunch the numbers and let's see if there's an opportunity here. Hi, my name is Gerhard. I've been in the crypto space for the last 8 years. I hit my first million 3 years ago, and I did this mainly through active trading of altcoins. While most people in the space lost capital in the last 2 years, so that's when I started to publish my trades in real time, we are currently at an all-time high when we include the open positions. And the way we did this is through relative valuation trades. So we bet on one altcoin relative to another one. Here are the current open positions. There are 6 live positions. All the closed positions, they are directly posted in real time on the website that's linked down below. Feel free to check it out. I don't think that many people in this space are willing to be as transparent. Now, here was the problem of Zcash in the early days. The supply grew very quickly. Going forward, that won't be that much of a problem though, because 1 year from now, there will only be 3.5% additional ZEC. But the highly inflation in the early days was terrible for Zcash. It underperformed Bitcoin by more than 99%. But over the last 2.5 years, things have stabilized. First, Zcash just went in line with Bitcoin, and now it's even outperforming. The question is this resistance relevant, or are we going to break through that? Many people are actually looking at Zcash just in terms of technical analysis. That's basically all that's been talked about. This is on x.com, formerly known as Twitter. I'm also on the platform and I publish data regularly over here. So feel free to also check out the account of this channel. Make sure though that you follow the right account. So that's at Bitcoin Strat. Make sure that you don't follow a fake account. There are many impersonators. At Bitcoin Strat is the only real account on X. Now, Zcash has 2 types of pools: a transparent liquidity pool and a shielded pool. That's the privacy part of the blockchain. There is a block subsidy, so that's the token inflation, very comparable to Bitcoin. And we've got proof of work. And 80% of the subsidy goes to the miners. The other 20% goes to the development, to the funding and to governance. And that's why we were able to get the bug fix through rather quickly. Some people say that this setup is not truly decentralized and that the developers should just work for free. But I'm not so sure if that's really the best approach. Yes, Bitcoin is set up in this way, but also in Bitcoin, there's a lot of fighting going on. For example, for inscriptions, right? How much data should be sent with the different blocks. Those kind of arguments do not exist for Zcash. Zcash is led maybe less democratic, but more efficiently. Now, the capital that's shielded, that grew very quickly. In other words, Zcash became more and more of a privacy coin over time. But of course, it does trade with attention. So what we see as this bar chart in the background, that's the number of mentions in social media. So how much is ZEC getting discussed? What we see in green, that's the price of Zcash. Now, there's something interesting. Of course, there's the correlation, right? More social mentions means a higher price. Less activity on social media means a lower price. But compare how much attention it took in 2025 for the price to go up versus right now. We have appreciated to very similar levels, yet the social attention did not go up as much compared to last year. In other words, it seems like many people are buying Zcash long term. They're just accumulating. They're not just pumping and dumping. They're not just riding the current wave. People that get into Zcash, they believe in the story and they're not just flipping a random altcoin. And that's maybe the reason why ZEC is doing so much better than the rest. But of course, there are still some people that trade Zcash short term. In the last 24 hours, we had 122 million worth of trading volume on the spot market. On the perpetual futures market, we had almost 900 million worth of trading volume. Zcash is very liquid. It's pretty much the most liquid altcoin besides Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana. And right now, the vast majority of traders are actually betting on rising prices. They are bullish on Zcash. And the trading volume is rather low. And again, have a look at how trading volume or attention is correlated with the price development. We want to buy when trading volume is low. We want to sell when trading volume is high. And currently it's comparatively low. And here is open interest. So that's now the amount of bets that are being placed on Zcash over time. We can see again, there is a lot of correlation. More bets, more leverage means a higher price. But compare those tops. Zcash has hit a very similar price top in 2025 compared to this year. The open interest, it did grow from one top to the next. So while the social activity might be declining, which hints towards long-term holding, leverage has also increased, which points towards short-term speculation. And so instead of just speculating where things might be going, it's probably best to simply run a backtest. To run a simulation of buying and selling Zcash over time, this comes from Bitcoin Strategy Analytics, the backtesting platform of this channel. It's available to all premium members. And have a look at this chart. So we try to figure out what's the best golden and death cross historically for Zcash. We look for a combination of fast and slow moving averages, and the best combination, that's the one over here. When we look at the numbers, that's what we get. The 11 plus 21 day simple moving average. Now I'm backtesting since this point over here, since we stabilized versus Bitcoin, because now the inflation of ZEC, the tokenomics, have improved. The situation today is very different compared to pre-2024. That's why I'm using this data set only for backtesting. But have a look at how consistent that approach works. So Zcash is at the top, and our backtested portfolio, that's here at the bottom. We don't have those massive declines. We tend to stabilize when the price goes down, and we tend to take advantage when the price goes up. And so here's how that looks like in real time, right? The 11-day plus the 21-day simple moving average. We want to bet on a falling price when we get a death cross. So for example, over here, we want to bet on a rising price when we get a golden cross. For example, over here. We just got a golden cross on the 8th of July. So 1 week ago. And while this system doesn't work perfectly, there are bad signals every now and then. Long term, it tends to work. It tends to ride the waves quite well. The win rate isn't even that high, right? It's only 55.8%, but the average winner is much, much larger than the average loser. And that's where the massive outperformance comes from over just buying and holding since Zcash's recovery. And so that's in general the approach that I like to use. I like to use backtests, I like to use statistics to time markets. That's why our performance looks the way it does. And I do this with pretty much any trade. Now you can see not every trade is a winner, right? There are losers, but on average the winners are larger than the losers. An average trade made 5.1% gains with a holding period of 26 days, and that created our 48% annualized. So every single trade can be verified. For example, over here, right, Luna Classic, we entered a short. That's then announced in the Telegram channel at the same time. We got a death cross at the time, and then subsequently we closed the position once we got a golden cross. For Terra Luna Classic, that was a 6-day plus 10-day simple moving average that historically worked the best. That's different to Zcash, where we've got the 11 and 21-day simple moving average. Still, right now, I think it's the best to rather be optimistic. Yes, some charts look scary, like Zcash relative to Bitcoin with the strong resistance, or here Zcash relative to the rest of the altcoin market, where the risk is high relative to the reward, but that's only true if this resistance is actually holding. And we have seen in the past how Zcash can break out from the rest of the crypto market. Now, unfortunately, I cannot share every single trade that's currently open, but there is the pinned comment down below with a link to this page. On this page, you can get one premium trade. So that's a trade that I personally hold, that also the vast majority of the members here hold. It's 100% free. You don't have to put in a credit card. You don't have to pay anything. You can either get that trade via Telegram by clicking here, alternatively scanning this code, or you can simply enter your email address. Then you get the setup emailed directly into your inbox. You will also get a link to a premium tutorial video that explains everything in technical detail, how to set stop losses, how to manage the position, where to open it, etc. It's all explained then in the video. So it's both a position plus free premium content. Again, no payment whatsoever needed. It's linked down below. If it's your first time here, feel free to subscribe. I publish this regularly. A like would be very much appreciated as well. It helps the channel grow. See you next time. Cheers.